Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. 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 Many blessings to all of you who have tuned in. We are the Sirian Council of Elders, and we bring you this bedtime story with our love. There once was a time here in our system when the humanoids lived peacefully and also tribally. This was a time before technology, a time before much of the conflict that you see on Earth. We didn't have it here. But we still had issues that we had to face. One of the earliest challenges that our people faced was what to do when one person in a tribe, in a community, had a gift or an ability that others did not. And that's why this story is titled The Gift and the Blowback. There was a young girl living in a village that was entirely self-sustainable. They all grew the food they needed. They built the homes with what they could find in the forest. It was a peaceful community, and it was a loving community. And this little girl of 8 years old had a mother and father, grandparents, friends, cousins, all that she could ask for was taken care of. She played, she learned, she explored the world that was still relatively new to her. And then one day she started having visions. And she would talk about the visions that she had to her parents. Sometimes they sounded like pleasant dreams, and sometimes they sounded like nightmares. It was one of the nightmarish visions that started all of the drama that will unfold in the story. The little girl's name was Hearth, by the way. Her father's name was Luco. Her mother's name was Bella. When Hearth told her parents about a fire coming from the sky and wiping out a great deal of their food supply, that they would have to rely on for the winter, again, her parents thought this was simply a nightmare that she was having. And when she told them that no, she was quite awake when it happened and that her eyes were actually open, they then chalked it up to her having an active imagination and perhaps some fears that she was picking up on from the other people living in the village who often doubted that the tribe would have enough to get through the winter. And then it happened. Lightning struck. A facility that had been built to store enough food for everyone in their little village, and most of what they had stockpiled for the winter was lost. Hearth's parents saw that this was no coincidence and that their dear daughter had a gift, the gift of seeing. They had heard about it. They had heard that there had been others in other generations who had had the gift. And they were very proud and very excited, even though she had seen something that was very terrible for everyone involved, and they had done nothing about it. So they decided to keep what they had known to themselves and wait for the next vision to come, because they knew that the next one might be of something that they could do something about to make their lives better. Hearth went about her life as she normally did, living as a child does, playing, inventing games, exploring the forest, exploring all that she could, learning, growing, and not very concerned at all about her gift. It was something that she just knew she was supposed to have. And then the next one came. And this one was of a tall man who would come to the village and offer the tribe a solution to their food shortage problem. And she did see that if they accepted this man's help, they would have a bounty of food for the winter that would satisfy everyone's needs. Several days later, the man strolled into their village. He had a sparkle in his eye. His clothes were dirty. His face was even a little dirty. He had everything that he owned with him as he carried it around. And when he came upon this tribe, he asked to meet with the chief, one in charge. And like most tribes, they did have a leader. They didn't refer to him as the chief. He was just the one people often looked to when they needed leadership. And so the man from all parts unknown was given the opportunity to meet with this wise leader of the tribe, and he explained that he was going around from village to village, tribe to tribe, telling people about these wonderful rocks that he had found while investigating some caves that were far, far away from the village. And he noted that these rocks would emanate a light and a warmth when placed in a certain environment, and that people could grow food in the winter if they utilized these rocks. The wise leader had to think about this because it was an unknown substance being offered from someone they had no reason to trust. And as the tall stranger asked to have a place to sleep, a place where he could rest from all of his travels, he was granted that request. And the word spread of him and of his solution to their problem. Hearth's parents got word of the man's arrival, what he was proposing, and felt that they should take the knowledge that they had of Hearth's vision to the wise leader. And so they did. The wise leader heard the story of the vision, and they also felt it necessary to admit that she had also seen the partial destruction of their food supply by the lightning. And so, with that information, knowing that the girl had been right twice, first of the fire from the sky and then of the stranger coming with a solution, the wise leader decided that it was best for the entire tribe for them to listen to the man and to take him up on his offer, which they did, and they followed his instructions of how to build the right type of greenhouse structure and how to use water and these wonderful rocks, which were really crystals, rare crystals in our system. The crystals that would give off the light and the warmth and allow them to grow hydroponically everything that they needed to in order to get through those harsh winter months. And once they were set up with everything they needed, the tall stranger went on his way, feeling that he had served his purpose there and that it was time to move on to the next village and the next tribe. The word spread of Hearth's visions very quickly. And soon, all the villagers, all the members of her tribe would come to her one by one, asking questions. Most of the time, she would see nothing, and they would go away disappointed. Some of the time, she would see what they didn't want her to see, something they didn't want her to know about themselves, or a future that wasn't what they really wanted it to be. All she could do was be honest with these people who lived in her community. She never once told anyone what she knew they wanted to hear. She always trusted her gift. But as a result of her having this gift, not everyone trusted her. Some of the villagers wondered what would happen if she saw something again that she didn't tell everyone about, like with the lightning strike. And like in any society, there were people who did things that were not part of the agreement that they were in with their loved ones. Some would sneak behind their partner's back and have a romantic affair. Some would hide food in their own hut and stockpile it in case there ever was a shortage. They wanted to make sure they had enough for themselves. Things of that nature that people in the community just didn't want Hearth to know. And so they feared her. And she felt ostracized, spending most of her time just with her parents, who continued to love her, to adore her, to honor her, and to see the perfection of this gift as they knew that it could be used for good, and that she would only use it for good. Before long, the time had come for the next vision of something that might befall the community there. And when she saw this one, she hesitated to tell even her parents about it, because it was something she really did not want to occur. It was something that frightened her quite a bit. She saw a downpour of rain that was so enormous that everything would be flooded out. People would die. And the crops that were grown and the crops that were in the ground would be ruined. And that's all she saw. She did not see any way to prevent this from happening. She almost kept the entire thing to herself, but her mother and father could see that there was something wrong. And so they confronted her and told her that no matter what the vision was, it was better to let it out and tell the people what she was seeing. And so they took her to the wise leader, and she told him what she had seen, and he was extremely grateful, as his ancestors had experienced flooding before, and they knew exactly what to do. It was a preventable negative situation that they needed to know about. And they took all the precautions that they needed to take, and they saved so much of the homes and the food that would have gotten ruined were it not for the precautions. And once again, Little Hearth was the hero of the village. She was not feared for a while. She was not ridiculed. She was welcomed into people's lives again. And then little by little, because everyone felt they had some secret, something they didn't want her to know, she was ostracized again from the community, and she was distraught. She was sad, inconsolable by her parents. All the things that had once brought her joy now did not, as she spent most of her time sitting and staring off, lying in her bed, daydreaming about the life that she did want, which was a life where she was accepted, where she was respected and honored, and where no one feared her. And when she daydreamed about this reality, she felt good. She felt that even if she had to live in her imagination for the rest of her days, it would be better than facing all the dirty looks, all the people pretending they didn't see her as they walked by. And yet, even though she was treated so poorly by the people in her tribe, she still loved them. She adored them. She wanted what was best for them. And so she also envisioned the reality where they were all happy, where none of them were afraid, none of them were cheating on their partners, none of them were hoarding food in their huts, none of them were gossiping. Everyone in the community was happy, and she was happy. And she didn't have to give up her gift in this reality that she was imagining. Soon her parents started to notice that she was looking happier. She had a spring in her step. Hearth enjoyed helping out around the hut. She enjoyed foraging in the forest with her father. She even enjoyed helping her mother with the laundry. She was back to her old self again, and nothing had changed outside of her. She kept going with this imaginary reality, however, at night, before she would fall asleep, in the morning, right after she would get up, she would absolutely change her inner reality through her ability to envision what she wanted to envision. And before she knew it, little by little, people started to come around, except they weren't asking for her to see something for them. They were just coming around to express their gratitude that she helped them welcome in the tall stranger and prevent the flooding from taking out their homes and their food, all the crops and all the other damage it would have done. Soon, everyone in the community realized what a gift they had in Hearth. That she was pure of heart. That she never rejected any of them, even when they rejected her. They realized that she would only use her gift to help them. That she would become even stronger in her gift as she got older. And they were right. As time went by, Hearth began to not only see what was probable for the village and the villagers in her tribe, she also got very good at creating what would be best for everyone. She never put herself first. She always wanted to see what was best for everyone and help everyone to find their happiness, to find their heart center, to feel whole and complete. And by the time she was 18, the wise leader passed on in his sleep peacefully, something that she did not see before it happened. But after everyone mourned the loss of their wise leader, they all voted to have Hearth take his place. She would be the first woman, the first female to be in that position. And certainly the first who had the gift. She told everyone the truth, that she had envisioned a better reality for them all, and that everything had fallen into place just as she had seen it, using nothing more than her imagination. And she encouraged everyone in the village to do the same, to spend some time thinking about what was best for everyone before they fell asleep, and to hold that vision upon waking up. Because she knew that everyone had the power within them, that everyone had a gift, but they just didn't know it. And she knew that the reason that she was given the gift was so that she could discover that everyone had it, and so that she could help everyone find it within themselves for the betterment of the entire community. This wisdom was passed down from generation to generation. And word spread throughout the entire world that each and every person had this power within them. And the peace was maintained because of it. And this planet thrived. All because of one little girl and one little gift. Very good. That is the end. We hope you have enjoyed this bedtime story. We love you, and now we are signing off.